You're listening to Bumping Into Walls here on CJSW 90.9 on the FM dial, and welcome to it. I am Dave, and he's
Anthony.
Welcome, one and all. Here we are yet again. Guess what, folks? It is summertime. My favorite time of year. I love it. Hot weather, well, usual. Camping for some.
Yeah.
There's even day camps, whatever you want to do, sitting out on the balcony and having some fun. Speaking of which, I think we're going to get into it. What's your plans for summer there, Anthony?
I'm going off to a camp in a little bit here next week. I leave for a week. It's out in Vancouver, and it's a good 8-9 hour drive, I think, both ways. So they don't have a camp here this year, so they're going to try and send us out to BC, which they don't know me out there, so it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Meet some new people, and I think a couple of folks from Calgary are going on this trip. So it's in the old van we get, just like being on the road with a band. Just jump in the old smelly van and off you go.
Well, of course, make sure you shower before you go. That's kind of important.
You got to do that. But how many musicians probably don't? You got to think of it, right?
Well, who knows? It sounds like fun out in BC.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I've been towards Kelowna and what have you way back when I was a kid. It's always good. My summer plans include, going to Edmonton for sure, and I think hanging around Calgary. There's always something to do within the city for sure. But for sure, I think we're going to be discussing a little bit about what's in our toolkit. And as visually impaired and blind, we have different sort of gizmos and gadgets. So what do you use around the house, or even not so much around the house and on the go, as you and I are always on the go?
Yeah. Well, I have this really neat gizmo that I brought with me, and the battery still works, thank God. It is called a liquid level indicator. Now, you're going to wonder why it's named that, but I'll explain. So how big is this, Dave? How big it's rectangular.
Yeah, it is rectangular.
About the size, I'm just trying to think of the size. It would be about the size of a very small transistor radio, maybe?
I think transistor radios might be
bigger.
A little bigger than that, but hey.
Yeah, it's a small rectangular object with 3 prongs. So there's you would hang it over your mug, and I say mug because if you put this on a plastic glass, the weight of this thing will tumble your glass over and you'll have a big old mess. So they invented this thing because, if you have hot liquid, blind person sticks their finger in said cup, pours until it hits their finger and goes ouch. So they said, we're going to make a really cool gizmo so that doesn't happen. That's exactly what they've done. So you would put this over your coffee cup, pour your coffee as normal without having to stick your finger in it, and it would make a noise. And the noise is something like this.
Almost sounds like an alarm clock.
Yes, it does. Now, I had one before that was a longer noise, but you know what? It's a beep, and it gets the job done. Just don't give this to a little kid because they'll play with it and burn a battery out because little kids do stuff like that. They love noise. So I can imagine a blind kid taking their dad's liquid level indicator and just blowing the battery.
And do you have to recharge said batteries?
No, they're throwaway batteries. You go buy them from the store. And this thing is the only one that has a battery that still works, because I bought 2. Because I bought it from the Braille Superstore, because unfortunately they're a little more expensive here in the city. So I went somewhere where I could get 2 for the price of 1 using regular mail. So they'd send them in the mail, and you put the batteries in them, which you got to buy separate, and you're good to go.
So batteries not included, folks.
No, batteries not included, and there's no, you don't have to put it together. You don't have to, no assembly required on this.
Perfect. I like those no instructions. I do not like instructions.
They did come with instructions, but it's pretty easy, right? I pretty
Wait a minute. Now, how as a blind person would you read instructions?
Well, there's 2 ways to do it. If it's in Braille and you're lucky enough to read Braille, that's great. They also may sometimes do this. They'll send a memory card or a disc. It just depends. And it will go into our Daisy player, which we'll be discussing in a minute. And you listen to the instructions. Or you could look it up online, but that's a whole other issue that may or may not work because depending on how accessible said product was made, as far as the online interface, might have some fun.
Well, one piece of thing that I use is my white cane, and I'm sure you as well. Everyone forgets about that. We have such cool little things.
Yeah.
But the white cane, that's most important.
Yeah. I mean, we just because you have a white cane doesn't mean you're totally blind either. You've proven that, Dave, where people have thought you couldn't see anything, right?
Oh, no, exactly. I've had to actually tell folks I do have some sight, so I don't necessarily need assistance all the time. Personally, I think it's great because I had to use my cane around West Edmonton Mall when I was up there.
And you didn't break it?
Back. No, I didn't break it. I didn't lose it.
Oh, good.
As I lost 2. And it's great for getting the people out of my way. Mm-hmm. Generally, people will move out of your way if they're not looking at their cell phone. I know you and I have come through McEwen Hall here at the university, and we've had to basically nicely, people will get out of the way. They will move. So we were talking about the importance of a white cane and what have you.
Yeah. No, they're and of course we know that some folks have guide dogs and they use them quite well-trained animals, service animals. They do that. So there's lots of tools, even as far as labeling. We have I have a Braille labeler at home that looks like a regular labeler, and it just has Braille on the dial, and you would actually that board over there has been labeled by said labeler. So you just use regular label tape, stick it in there, and you would just cut it like you normally would, and it would come out in Braille.
Perfect. So another tool we both have in our tool chest or toolkit, whatever you want to call it, is our Daisy players. And I got mine with me today. And you also use a Daisy player. Which one do you use?
I use the bigger one with a larger speaker. There are 2 kinds. There's the Daisy Stratus, and there is the Daisy Stream. Stream can do way more than a Stratus can, but that's okay. Originally, they used we used the Stratus because CNIB at that time were sending out discs, book on disc. So they'd come in these little envelopes, and you would put them in your player, and you'd finish them, and you'd send them back. Only problem was sometimes you'd get discs with peanut butter on the bottom because the last person who had them got peanut butter on the bottom.
That sounds gross.
It was gross, and you literally learned really good to wash your discs if you felt some really nasty things on the bottom. So they decided to go and use a different system where you just got one disc. They'd print it, and then you could throw it away. Because before, they would use it for 20, 30, 40, 50 people. But sometimes it gets scratched, and if that ever happened and it got stuck in your player, you couldn't get it out. You had to literally open the back of your player up and pull it out.
Oh, that sounds difficult. Yeah, well, I've got the Victor Reader Stream here. And as of date, there is yet a new one. The Victor Reader's 3rd generation. I have here with me the 2nd generation. And the nice thing about this is you can download your books online through your Wi-Fi through the Center for Equitable Library Access, which is a library service for folks with print disability and or dyslexia, believe it or not.
Anyone who can't pick up a book is eligible.
So there's that, and we're going to go through a little demo with this thing because it's more than just a talking book player. So I'm going to go ahead and start up my stream.
Welcome to Victor Reader.
Yes, folks, it does talk to you.
Airplane mode on.
Lanterns, lakes, and larceny.
There you go. One of the books I'm starting to listen to. That is what is on my bookshelf. There is more.
Bookshelf.
Sell a direct-to-player.
4 books.
So there's 4 books in this one.
Lanterns, lakes, and larceny.
So I've just picked that one. And I want to see where I am, which is the 5 button.
Where am I? 63%. Heading 3. Time remaining 1 hour 18 minutes 35 seconds.
So there's that particular book, and it'll tell you exactly where you are in said book.
Bookshelf.
Seller Direct.
Podcasts.
There's, yes, you can
2.
listen to
Podcast
podcasts on
feeds.
this thing.
1.
Global news. What happened to
Ooh.
Sirius K?
And
1. New episode. Add podcast feed. 1.
Global news. What happened to
2.
Art Bell Tape Vault? The Art Bell Vault.
yes, there you go,
New
folks. That's
episode.
what I'm kind of listening to. Some good old Art Bell stuff that was recorded way back when.
Before he disappeared and vanished and passed away, unfortunately, but
But so we can do podcasts. It also can do.
Internet radio.
Oh,
1.
there you go.
Playlist. 1. Humanware playlist.
English North America.
It will give you internet radio, although I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing that because it will kill your battery. What I have found, when you put this thing online, for some reason it eats up the battery, but that's all right. I usually plug it in if I'm downloading podcasts. It recharges the battery, and it'll save you from having to recharge it again. So that's the Victor Reader Stream in a nutshell. I like it. That's my one of my daily use things, along with my white cane. I do enjoy listening to audiobooks. I've always struggled as a kid reading a book because I've even tried large print books, but still, because my eye constantly moved back and forth, it's always been a struggle. With audiobooks, you just sit back and you listen, and it's really popular amongst, regular folks who with vision
Yeah.
and who pop a CD or whatever you're listening to. You can listen to books over on your phone, what have you. I've heard of people driving and listening to audiobooks, so it's not just for, I guess, the visually impaired anymore.
It used to be. And so they were, I'll give you a brief history lesson because this may help people understand.
Yeah, I like history lessons.
Okay, we'll give you a brief history lesson because it used to be run by the CNIB Library, which is the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. This was, I'll say, back in the 40s or 50s. I don't know when it started. But when I was born, it was in the 70s, and they were doing their thing then. So we'll go from there. So the problem they were having was they had to produce everything in Canada because we couldn't access much from the States because we didn't have a system set up where they would allow us to do that. So if there was a Harry Potter book, we had to make it ourselves, even though it was already made in Britain. Now, you could get stuff from Britain, and you could get stuff, but you couldn't get stuff from America because there wasn't a plan in place. So they came up with this treaty called the Marrakesh Treaty in 2013. Stevie Wonder was all over it. It took just until maybe last year or 2 years ago to get this straightened away. So it was before COVID anyway. So basically, we could borrow from anywhere in the Commonwealth. Now, that would mean basically they get a lot of stuff from the U.S. as well because they get a lot of stuff. They buy a lot of that stuff, like the Audibles and things like that. So CELA has a deal with Audible Canada, and they have a deal with the 5 major publishers. So Harper, Macmillan, and there's probably 3 others I don't know the names of, but you could look them up. And we don't get everything, but we get quite a bit of stuff. On top of the stuff that we also get from these other libraries. So it's really increased what we're able to access. So there's 2 ways you can access it. So there's synthesized voices, which they use if a book just comes out and they haven't got it put into narrated yet. And there's also the narrated ones, which is narrated by humans, which I actually prefer because most people that I've talked to across the world prefer them. But it takes a while to make them. So in the meantime, they'll give us one of those. And I always wait for them to come out. But basically, CNIB has just been involved in production of the Canadian books. And CELA, Canadian Equitable Library Association, they take care of the distribution of said books. So I think they're all across the country now. Manitoba just came a while ago. So yeah, here's the cool thing about CELA. If you're in a local library like Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, even the smaller towns, you can access CELA material as a blind person or a person with a disability. All you need for us, as folks that are blind, is a CNIB card to prove your blindness. Yeah, we have to prove our disability all the time, but that's what it is. And so that allows us to access CELA Library through your public library. So you don't have to fly to Toronto or anything like that. And it's quite a simple process. I did it many years ago. I got grandfathered in. So that's a quick history of what we're working with. And sometimes, just for your information, I remember I put a book on hold once. It took 5 to 6 years before it was even produced and ready. By that time, my buddies had all read it that were sighted, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm behind the 8 ball. But now we're able to read stuff pretty much the same time as everyone else.
Pretty much. I know I was waiting on a particular Michael Connelly book, and you were looking through the library, because I check almost every other day because you never know what's in. I had just finished that one. Now I'm on to something else. And of course, Michael Connelly, he does the Harry Bosch novels, or Renee Ballard, or both.
Yeah, they're both doing their thing. When you listen to a book, Dave, is there, because I don't know if you've listened to the stuff coming out of America, the National Library Service, or if you've listened to just the commercially made stuff, do you notice that sometimes a narrator can make or break a book?
Sometimes, yes. I think I was telling you about, what was it? Bloodwork, which is a very old book. Again, Michael Connelly, but it was narrated by some sort of, I think...
it was done through RNIB, I think.
Yeah, some sort of...
Royal National Institute for the Blind in England. So, of course, that doesn't always fly. With certain books, it does, but with that one, it doesn't totally fly.
I had to send it back. It was just...
Yeah, I've listened to books like that where I've got stuff from the publishers, and it's like... Sometimes the authors read their own books, and some authors are really good at it, and some are just horrible. And then there's some narrators, you see, because they were volunteers. So a lot of these folks in the States were volunteering their time, and some still do, I think. But then there's the professional narrators, of course, and you can always tell the difference. Most of them are either ex-actors or whatever the case may be. But do you notice a difference between those types of narrators, and which do you prefer? Does it make or break a book?
Other than the English or British narration, sometimes, as you said, it can go with the book. And really, in some cases, I haven't noticed. Some books, there has been a female narration where I thought, ooh, maybe they should have had a male narrator, depending on the character, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that would. And sometimes they've got, they seem to have books now where they have 4 or 5 narrators. That's confusing as all get out. I've got books that on my memory card here that are like 4 or 5 narrators. I'm like, okay, wow. So I mean, I guess things back in the day though, you had everything on cassette tape, and Daisy only came in, I think, early 2000s, I think, maybe. And so the problem with tapes was 50,000 people used it, and if you were 50,001 and your tape broke and you were almost through the book, you were hooped. Then you'd have to put an elastic around the tape, shove it back in its case, this big plastic case, stick them to throw them back in the mail. Now they don't do as much mail because it's cheaper to just have you download them. So they've got, even the big Stratus that I'm going to be getting here soon will allow me to go to CELA and download books. So, you know, there's possibilities there.
It certainly makes life easier in that way. Tapes? Gosh, last time I had a tape, it was in my Sony Walkman, which had FM stereo. Well, I thought I was king then.
Oh, yeah. Well, around here, we actually have tape recorders here in the station. We've got a whole bunch. If you go back to the music library, you're going to see a bunch of cassette tapes from back in the 80s and the 90s, I think, if you go back there. So, you know.
Well, I've been back there and I've lost myself.
Yeah, don't get lost in the library.
I was like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. So what do you think the future of CELA is going to be? Like, what do you think they're going to do? If they've already got the 5 big publishers, what's next on their list, do you think?
I really think they're just going to keep getting books. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of stuff, take it or leave it. I think you even tried a romance novel. Yawn.
Oh, wow, dude. Okay.
I haven't tried it.
I have, yeah. I have. The other thing, just out of interest, in other countries, they're setting it up, and I think they've did it here, where you can use your Alexa to read books
Yes,
through
you.
Sela.
Yes. I know they were experimenting with that. I know if that's
Yeah,
for
it's a
sure.
thing.
I think it is a thing.
It's a
Okay.
thing because it's a thing in New Zealand and it's a thing here now. They're doing some testing on it, and I would have loved to be in on the testing, but it just never
Well,
did.
I know there's a new one, the Envoy Connect, which is another day. First of all, what does DAISY stand for?
You know what? I should have done my homework before I left the
What,
house
you
this
normally-
morning. Normally I
Oh.
do, but there's a consortium called the DAISY Consortium. So if you Google that, it will tell you what DAISY stands for. And I know digital is in there.
Yeah, digital system something. Boy, we're really good.
We're not so hot today.
No,
but
we're not.
that's okay. That's what Google is for.
That's right. Google's your friend. When in doubt, consult Google.
So
Just don't. If you have certain symptoms, don't do it. Just don't do it. Trust me.
Yeah, we're. But so here's what I would do. If it were me, there's 2 or 3 ways you can actually get charged in with Sela Library. You can go to selalibrary.ca. So that's CELA library.ca. You can phone them when their phones work. As of a couple of days ago, they didn't, but now they do. As I said, if you're down at your local library, you can do that. Or you can do it online, but it's a bit of a challenge to do because you have to have certain documentation available to them. So I'd recommend just going to your local library and doing it that way, but each to their own. Some folks are really techie.
Yep.
And once you do that, you set yourself a password, you set everything up. They give you a number. Don't lose it because that's your ID number. And you can go in, you can pull books. Now, I think your limit is 20 a day. I think. But who the heck's going to read 20 books a day? I think it's 20 total for a month, and then you'd have to start over. But I've never had that problem recently, so maybe they lifted it. But, sometimes you can overload your... And in there, when you're looking for books, it will tell you how long the book is, who the narrator is, because eventually you're going to know what narrators you like. You can't go through narrator listing yet. They're still working on that. But you can search things. You can do all kinds of great things inside there. So, you can get everything from kids' books all the way up to, self-help books to thrillers to whatever your heart desires is going to be there. Romance, everything.
Exactly. One more cool tool I've got is the Orcam Read with me.
Oh, now,
Yes.
I don't know much about it. So can you explain to us what it
Optical
looks like?
character recognition device. It's
Okay.
about as big as almost, I want to say, magic marker.
Okay.
And so I have it connected, and I did the switch while you were talking. And it'll read text off of most anything.
The last time we tried that, it valiantly tried.
Well, and that's just it. This particular device, it's great, but it's not perfect. I don't expect it to give me directions or what have you.
No.
And I actually going to have to go with.
Orcam version 9 is ready. Battery is 100% charged.
Obviously, folks, I charge my battery before I head out.
Good job.
So we're going to try a piece of text here behind me, and we'll try it again and see if it will pick up.
It might.
But it's not. I have tried reading the side of a soda can. It's a little tricky, but it can pick text off of a computer, iPad, wherever you're sitting. So that is handy. And actually, we are headed to the Royal Trail Museum, so that'll come in handy for reading some sort of text or whatever I need. It's really great in that way. So we'll give it a good old shot.
Let's see what happens.
Editing basics. Skip 2 lines of
There you go,
unreadable
folks.
text.
Oh, unreadable.
Skipped 8 lines of unreadable text.
And it will do that sometimes.
Continuation.
So
And
that's-
continuation.
it
So you
probably-
have to have somewhat of a steady hand. But
Yeah.
I was just trying.
A minus 24 plus 16 AO plus E plus 14 plus 20 switch goo.
Okay, that sounds
Oh,
like a math
hey,
question.
there you go. And I got something here in front of me. We'll try.
Huh.
We'll try to read something.
Vocare KN95 respirator warnings. Skipped 1 line of unreadable text. Infection. Skipped 8 lines of
And
unreadable text.
it will do that sometimes.
Gas. Skipped 5 lines of
All right.
Okay, so we know that thing has masks in it, maybe,
Yes.
but that's all we know.
I'm going to try something else here.
BYD CareK N95 respirator.
There we go.
Bronze nose. Skipped 19 lines.
Ooh.
We missed a lot of instruction there.
So, as I say, folks, it's not
Not perfect.
perfect, but it does get the job done. And there are certain features you can download, I've found out, at quite a heavy price tag. Like, I think there was one feature, I think a guy said, oh, that'll be about $300 or something. What?
Okay, but it depends what the feature does.
Yeah.
If it's going to be useful, you have to weigh and you're also probably paying American dollars. Many
Yeah.
times for us buying equipment, like I have a screen reader at my house that's called JAWS. No, not the shark. And it talks everything on my computer. Now that is, you can get it through Canadian distributors, but is run out of Florida. So you're paying American dollars for a lot of these devices. So the exchange rate can sometimes kill you. But we do have a plan here in Alberta called STEP over at our CNIB that you can put your name in to get some funding to help you pay for certain devices. So we're one of the few provinces that has it. I think Ontario and us are the only two that I know of. There could be others, but I don't know. But in many cases, it just doesn't happen. The amount because you're dealing with a small minority of people, and so the prices are going to be quite high.
Yeah, I know this thing is about $2,000 some odd dollars.
Yeah, don't lose
If
it.
one had to, if one had to pay for that out of pocket, that's a lot. So we are so fortunate.
And
to have-
our Daisy players are around $5.99, $600. The streams. I don't know what the other ones are.
The new one is $590 to be exact, and this one I think is about $550. I want to say. The last time, that is the second gen. So even the one you are getting is worth about $600.
Yep, that's right. And there are different types of players as well. So for some folks that aren't too technical, I have one that's a loaner right now, and it doesn't do all the things my other one did, but it's great for someone who's just getting used to books and stuff like that, and maybe they throw a disc in there. They don't actually use a memory card, so they don't have to worry about, like, they're not a student, so they don't have to worry about skimming through a book. They're reading it from beginning to end. They don't really, worry about it. But for some people, it depends on the features you need. So do your homework in whatever you're buying. And, I mean, technology always does change. I mean, we never thought that there was going to be books being able to be read on your Alexa. I never even thought that was a possibility.
I think that's a good thing. And I think in terms of the Envoy Connect, it is another device, a player, which from what I've seen, it has a solar panel charger. Yes, if you can believe that.
Wow.
So, of course, it doesn't have the online feature, which I don't like, which means you would have to connect it to the computer and get your books that way.
Which is what I'm doing right now. So,
well,
then you got to unpack them, and then you got to copy them onto a card. So yeah, no, if you can get it straight through the library, like we're going to be able to do once I get my new player, then that's the way to go.
Well, and I can see we're getting. It's almost time to get out of here.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're sitting here yakking about whatever.
Really?
So we're going to say goodbye and thank you for listening. Do take care, and we'll catch you on the next episode.